Doing a guided reading book called The Roaring Storm. Does anybody know what that word roaring means already? Kind of use a picture to help you. The Roaring Storm. Yes.
It's kind of like a storm where it makes a lot of noise, and it's like kind of like a roaring, but it's kind of like a lion.
Okay, so she's using that connection. It's kind of like a lion roaring, so it's making a lot of noise. What do you think?
I think it's like a thunderstorm or lightning, and then it just crashes down buildings and houses and all that stuff.
We can kind of see that from the picture, right? How's the picture looking? What do you see in the houses in the picture? Yes.
It looks like it's flooding.
You see some flooding? Yes.
It's like an earthquake.
It's like a what?
Earthquake.
Earthquake?
Or earthquake.
Oh, yeah. Earthquake. Yes, looks kind of like an earthquake. Yes.
And it's kind of like the water's right there, and then it's a big hard storm, and the water and the houses got caught in there, and then it kind of looks like a little the window right there.
Yeah, we can kind of see. It looks like something may have gone through the window. So yeah, if the storm is roaring, that means it's really big. Like Angelica was saying, it's making a lot of noise. It's causing a lot of disasters kind of going on. So that's what we're reading about today. It's called The Roaring Storm. So again, before we start, let's think about some things we already know about storms. What do we already know about storms? Yes.
There could be a thunderstorm, a rainstorm, and they're really dangerous to have, and a tornado.
So we have all different kinds of storms. They're kind of dangerous. Yes.
Storms are dangerous, so you can't be going outside and playing around.
Exactly. We shouldn't be outside.
And if you do, then you'll die.
Okay, we could get zapped maybe by lightning, but we know to stay inside and be safe. Yes.
If there's like sleet or hail, we will like stay inside and never go outside if it's rain. And if it doesn't rain, and if it doesn't go away, you'll still have to stay inside.
Yes.
Storms make a lot of noise, and they're really dangerous.
Yeah, so storms definitely make a lot of noise, and they definitely can be dangerous. So before we actually start reading the words in the book, we're going to do a picture walk. So all you're going to do is want to flip to each page. We're going to look at the picture and try to make predictions of what we think is going to happen. So just turn to the first page.
So we don't need to look at the words?
No, don't look at the words, just doing a picture walk. Just looking at the pictures. Okay? So we're going to start on this page. Rose, what do you think is happening in this picture?
I think the mom is pointing at the clouds, like just in case if they're like it's about to rain.
Okay.
And about to tell the boy it's like about to rain.
Okay, so the mom's pointing, maybe it's about to rain. So let's do the next page. So turn the page.
I think the boy's trying to run because I think he's hearing that the storm's coming again and again and again.
Okay.
I think that he's on the porch, so he doesn't so the storm doesn't like get him, because sometimes there's people in the middle of the street and they can direct it because there's the storm there. You don't really never know if it's turning or something.
Yes, exactly.
In this picture, I think the storm is about to start, and right here you can see the lightning.
Yep, so we can see the lightning in the picture and the storm's coming. Yes.
And this one, it looks like, I think it's like the water cycle because I see it raining, and then in the water cycle there's evaporation and the water's going to evaporate. Oh my gosh, I think it's water. Right here. I think the boy is like flooding. I think the boy didn't know that it's gonna flood.
Yep, so it looks like it's starting to flood in the house, so we have some trouble there.
It's happening again like the first page when we saw it, and then we were gonna go over it. And it's messing up like the same thing, and you see the thing going through the windows and stuff and all that.
Yes.
you can see they almost got caught, and they got out the house right inside because the tree knocked down and they would have just been inside and everything would have broken pieces. I think. You passed that one. Miss Becky.
And last page, number 12.
You did this one.
Yep, she just went so right here.
And this one I think the story is that, and they like you finally I find a table outside the pressure and you like you don't get pressure.
Okay. Alright, so now we are going to read to see what actually is happening in this book, The Roaring Storm. So remember, you're going to whisper read in your heads, and when I tap, you read out loud so I can check and hear
you're
you.
going to do like one at a time?
Yeah.
So she's going to be first?
Yeah, so you're going to, well, I might switch it up, but you're going to be reading in your head, so go ahead and read. So warning is definitely something telling somebody something bad. This is the very beginning of our story. This happened in the very beginning of our story.
I think it's very long. This is like, oh.
It's just noticing what's going on. What do you think happens?
I think it's like love and everywhere. And he might not know it like that.
Okay, so right here it says the water stopped roaring. What do you think that means, the water stopped roaring?
It means that the water stopped coming and coming.
So water stopped coming and coming. So what do you think happens? Guys, when you finish, and I haven't gone through and heard everybody, just start at the beginning and kind of review it. So what happened first? Let's go back. Let's think about what's happening in the story so far. Yeah, you made a shot. Okay, when you're done, just kind of open it back up and read it from the beginning again.
I think the stars very basically because it's funny enough.
Okay, and right here it says thunderstorm warning, how horn sounded. What's a warning? Do you know what a warning is?
Like a warning. You can you don't know like someone trying to get you and then you want something you say look out. That's all we can use for
So why do you think they had a storm warning horn? Why do you think they warning?
so people can read that and know that there is a storm coming because some people are inside and they didn't see it or probably they heard it on the radio. That's why they probably already out.
Going to from where you are. Yeah.
I went to the back of the house with two shores. I looked up and saw the storm coming. Then the storm warning powers sounded.
So look at this back. What sound does O-R make? O-R.
R.
R? What makes the R sound? A-R makes the R sound, right? Alright, what's O-R mean? Or. So what's this word? Horn. Horn is like a horn. You like a car horn?
Horn sounded. Then I waited on the porch of the store next to our house.
Okay, so you read the story, correct? This is your second time going through it? So tell me what the story was about.
First his mom told him to do the short when he before the storm comes and hits him. Well, then he tried to rush and do the shorts as fast as he could, but then he saw that the storm was coming, so he didn't want to stop it and do the shorts, because then he had to do the push-ups. Well, then he went to wait on the porch, when he saved the shorts. I went to the back of the house with the horse. I looked up and saw the storm. Then the storm warning sounded. I waited on the edge of the storm. Next to our house, we probably clouds. Storms over my head.
So, this is a big black house storm over my head. What is that? Clouds are going up above his head. What do you think it means? I saw big black clouds. Why is that important that they're black?
Because it's about to rain.
It's about to rain. And what may happen next?
And my blood is high.
Okay, so it might flood his house and then
And then he had to clean things.
Okay, so everybody's finished reading at least one time, so you can go ahead and close your books. I was going to ask you a few questions first before I tell you what we're thinking about. Okay, first, did the family know the storm was coming?
No.
How do we know? Raise your hands, please. How do we know the family did not know the storm was coming? Yes?
Because they didn't hear nothing properly, and they didn't feel and see them coming down.
Okay, so you didn't hear anything, they didn't feel anything coming down, yes?
I think they didn't know because at first the mom said that she told her son to go to the store and then they saw the cloud like it was starting to rain and then the storm came by.
Yes.
I think they knew because she told her son to go to the shore before the storm hits us.
Yep. So that leads me to my next question. So why did the family need to leave? Why did the family need to leave?
Because it was flooding all the time. It was flooding for 4 days.
Okay, so if it's flooding, why would we need to leave when it's flooding? Yes.
Because the storm might hit you, and you don't want to get like hit by the storm.
So storms can be very dangerous. Yes.
They shouldn't leave because if they do and they go somewhere like on their car, a bus, or an airplane, the storm might zap it and they might die in it.
Okay, so people can get really hurt. Yes.
I think they should leave the house because what if the house floods all the way and you don't even know if they have floods halfway instead of all the way?
Yes. And one more. Yes, Samaya.
It's like you have to leave because you don't want to drown and you don't want to die, and because you want to know what's new things.
Yeah, so we want to stay safe because we want to keep learning, want to keep growing. So I'm going to write a word on here. Okay. So problem. Everyone say problem.
Problem.
What's a problem? If I say you have a problem, what's a problem? Yes.
A problem is like you're in trouble, right? When somebody's trying to hit you and you're fighting, and when you're going to jail, but you want to try to get out.
Okay, so a problem is when you have trouble, right? So I want us to think about this word problem. I want you to think, what is the problem in our story here? What is our problem? Valeria?
The storm was a problem.
Okay, what about the storm was a problem?
It could it was flooding the house and it was shooting lightning already.
Okay, so the storm was flooding the house. What else, Samaya?
And they tried to leave, but it was too late, and they had to clean up the whole mess.
Okay, so the storm was flooding the house, and it was too late to leave. It was too late to leave was a really big problem, right? Because if they would have been able to get out earlier, they may not have, had to experience a flood. So I'm going to write the storm was flooding the house, and it was too late to leave. Okay? I'm going to write another word on here. And does anybody know what this second word is? Yes, Angelica?
It's kind of like solving the problem.
So what's the word first?
A solution.
Solution. Everyone say solution.
Solution.
And like Angelica said, solution is when the problem is solved. So when is our problem solved? It's not a perfect ending, but the problem does get better. Yes.
The problem is solved by them cleaning up and by the son helping, but without doing sports and stuff.
Okay, so the family cleaned up the mess. So it wasn't a really happy ending because they still experienced the storm, right? But the problem was still solved by them cleaning up the mess. Okay?
They thought that by cleaning up the mess, they'll make the world a better place.
Yes, because they thought by cleaning up, they'll make their lives and the whole world a better place. Sometimes that's what we have to do after storms. Because sometimes we can't control storms, but it's what we do afterwards is what makes it okay.
And Miss, it's a good point for everybody because if they see you, everybody will get out their house and start cleaning too.
Yeah, exactly. So if we ever have a storm, this book really has to show us exactly the kind of things we should do. Like Angelica, we don't want to have a storm. People don't want to have storms, but if they happen, the book was kind of showing us if we all work together, we can clean up the mess, right? And we can still. The book, yeah, the book, and get back together. All right, one more thing. Shh. There was one sound that kept repeating in this book. Does anybody know what sound that was? Samaya?
The roaring. That's the first one.
Okay, the roaring, but what sound in that word roaring did we keep hearing?
The storm.
Storm and roaring do have a similar sound, but what is that sound?
Or.
Or. So everyone write or on your whiteboards, please.
Small or bigness?
Kind of small.
Like this? Or.
So we have or, like in storm. We also have other ways that we can make that or sound. Look in the word, the roaring storm. So in roaring, what's making the or sound in roaring? Julissa?
Roar.
What's making the or sound? What letter is making the or sound?
O-R.
So O-A-R. So O-A-R, like in roaring, also makes that or sound, right? So what you're going to do now is I want you to flip through your book and I want you to find 3 other words that have that or sound and write them down on your board.
Okay.
So find 3 other words that have the or sound and write them down on your board to share. You gotta find them, you gotta write it down. So remember, I already did storm and we did roaring. So find 3 other words. Just write it on your board.
Oh, I got it good. Okay. Miss, does it count like the OR like in the OR in the word?
If it makes the or sound, write it down.
I gotta give me 2. Miss, does it have to be with OR?
It can be, remember there's other ways you can make the or sound. So just if you hear the or sound in the word, then write it down.
I thought 2 already. So hard. If I'm thinking of any of the mistakes.
Right. Take 1 more minute and then we'll share some of the words.
Can we put it up like this?
Well, I'll call you guys to give you some words.
Do we still put it up like this?
You really want to.
Marble.
Marble
drop? That's what I was.
So when I asked you, I need you to also tell me what letters are making that or sound. So where you see that or sound. Alright, so go ahead and finish your last word that you're writing and close your books.
I was writing on the first page and I thought 4.
Alright, so I'm going to get everybody just to share 2 words. I see some friends found way more than just 3. I want you just to share 2 words. Angelica, what are 2 good words you found?
Before and 4.
Okay, so she found before and 4. So Angelica, tell us, what's making the or sound and before and 4?
O-R. This is actually the number 4 and 4.
Oh, the number 4? Okay. Okay, so what's making the or sound in the number 4?
O-U.
Just
I mean O-U-R.
O-U-R is making that or sound, and what's making the or sound and before?
The O-R.
Actually, the O-R-E is kind of making that or sound. That E silent, but okay. So we have before and or and 4. What else do we have? Yes.
Oh, here it is.
Give me a word.
Storm.
Okay, so we did storm already. So what? You have a word there we haven't used. Rose wrote down. What's that word? Torch. And what's making the or sound in torch?
O-R.
O-R. Samaya, what do you have?
Horn.
Horn. And what's making the O-R sound in horn?
O-R.
O-R. What do you have?
How much are there? Store and write a lot. Forming.
Okay, store and forming. Let's try store. Store's a good one, making that or sound in store.
O-R-E.
Yep, O-R-E. And Valeria?
Forming. I'm reading that.
Forming. That's the one just said too. So let's put
and
forming.
Shores.
Shorts, another good one. So let's go with forming. What's making the O-R sound in forming?
F-O.
F-O. It's making the or. Let's see. For. Is it making the or? Just the or sound? Okay, so form is making or. I just want to know the or sound though. So I have orm. What's making?
O-R.
So or. Is that just the or sound?
No.
What other sounds there?
F-O-R-M.
So that's making form. I just want the or sound.
M-E? Nobody.
Okay, think Valeria. So what sounds do you hear in for? Tell me the sounds, not the letters, the sounds. But I just want to know the or sound. So what sound should I take off? That's the letter. So I take the sound off. So what makes the or sound? What two letters? Yes, so O-R, okay?
Missy, got another one. Me too.
Alright, so we're not gonna have time to do anymore. But so there are many different ways we can make that or sound, right? We have the O-A-R like in roaring. We have the O-R like in torch and horn. We have the O-U-R like in a number 4. And then we have the O-R-E like in store and before. So when we're reading and we see this O-A-R, that O-R, that O-U-R, or the O-R-E, we know we need to be making the or sound. And this can really help us when we're reading new text and trying to figure out new words. Right?